What's the most depraved thing you've seen someone do? I watched a guy stab himself in the neck and then try to saw his right arm off. He was high on meth. He was my patient in the ER. I calmly told him that we would be fixing whatever damage he caused, so please don't make our jobs harder. It actually worked. He stopped. My basketball teammates in middle school were all carpooling together, and on the way back from a game we came to a stoplight. The parent driving suddenly yelled not to look out to the left of the car. Naturally, all of us middle school boys promptly looked exactly there, only to find a butt-naked man on the side of the road aggressively shoving a large spoon in and out of their asshole. 'Twas a quiet ride home after that, and a sight deeply seared into my mind even over 10 years later. Having breakfast at a coffee place, sitting at the high tables looking out at the street in San Diego on a nice sunny day, a homeless man comes by picking up trash. Everything, cig butts, plastic cups, etc., and unfortunately he crams it all into a post box, not a trash can. You can see how happy he was for helping, while also totally strung out. A couple walks by with a little shit for dog. The dog craps in the little square around the trees, you know, and they don't pick it up. They walk away. Here comes homeless man. Picking trash? We understood what was going to happen, and we saw it all. The claw-shaped hand reaching down, grabbing that poop, shoving it into the mailbox. Wiping the hand on the pants, continuing picking trash. We left immediately. It still haunts me. The heat, the postman, the post office, untreated mental illness, poverty, and street drugs. F that. I was a teenager running a 5K fundraiser. Before it even started, I noticed a guy who was dressed unusually. He was wearing one of those tight fishnet shirts from the 80s and black short shorts. He looked like discount Rocky Balboa. As the race commenced, he started making sounds like he's struggling almost immediately. Like tail end of a marathon sounds. My group was right behind him, and I was keeping an eye because I'm intrigued. I noticed that his inner thighs are unusually hairy. Then I noticed that they seem to be getting hairier. Then the grunting noises get more intense. Then the smell starts to spread, and then everyone nearby notices. The dude ran the entire 3-ish miles with poopy pants, and then sticks around like nothing is wrong. He's grabbing bottles of water leaning against wooden fences at the park, leaving shitty-ass prints in multiple spots. Finally, an old lady tries to help, telling him he should go home and giving him her jacket to wrap around his waist. He acted oblivious. To this day, I wonder what that was. Mental illness? A public humiliation fetish? I'm leaning towards a combination of the two. When my husband was working in a grocery store, there was this mystery guy who did art with his shit all over the bathroom floor, walls, and door. It happened a few times before they caught him. They nicknamed him Picasso. A girl having a screaming match with her boyfriend in a restaurant. Cops were called, and while they were detaining her, she reached up her skirt, pulled her tampon out, and threw it at the cop. It hit him. She got arrested. I worked security at a nightclub in the late 90s. It was a multi-tiered spot with a concert venue, a nightclub that sometimes had wildly different crowds. The night this story happened, we had an 80s-themed night in the club and a punk rock show in the venue. I get called to the women's bathroom in the club part, which was never a good thing. There's a girl in there passed out on the toilet. Shit and puked all over herself. So I have to carry her out. I get her to the back staircase and sit her down. She's babbling, but nothing I can understand. After a short time, this guy comes outside and claims to be her boyfriend and wants to take her home. Says she drank too much. The girl's a pretty young white girl. Dude is a fat, mid-30s Middle Eastern looking guy. Something was off. We were trying to find her ID, but her pants are still all tangled up. Her keys fall out and one of the other bouncers pick them up. The guy immediately tries to claim them, saying they're from his car. My coworker asks him what kind of car it is. Before he can answer, another girl starts screaming behind us. Holy shit! What happened? I start to tell her what has happened to her friend, and that the boyfriend is wanting to take her home. What boyfriend? The guy immediately hauls ass running down an alley away from us. We caught him, but instead of calling the police, we told some of the punks I knew that were there what he had done. They took him and kicked the shit out of him and dropped him in a dumpster. A colleague and I were first on the scene of a fatal hit-and-run in Manchester a few weeks ago. While we were trying to give the victim first aid, or more accurately panicking, knowing our first aid ability was completely inadequate, a lady was stood by us filming everything on her phone. I'm still completely traumatized by it, and all I can think of is this absolute cunt filming while a 22-year-old girl lay dying in the road. Spoiled childhood friend had a gas-powered RC car. He thought it would be funny to duct tape a lizard onto it and take the poor thing for a ride. When he tried to take the tape off, it basically ripped the dude in half, and the kid laughed. Fast forward some years, he went away for murder. I don't know if this counts. In my late teens, early 20s, a friend of mine introduced us to his new girlfriend. She was actually pretty cool and meshed well with our group. That night, they both pass out in his room, and she wakes up completely disoriented. She couldn't find a light switch or door, so she just dropped a deuce in his bedroom floor, then crawled back in his bed. He woke me up the next morning asking what we should do. Before we could approach her, she jumped out of bed and ran to the bathroom. She bent down to throw up in the toilet and simultaneously sprayed the wall behind her, the most toxic-smelling shit brown I've ever witnessed. Every time she heaved to throw up more, there was more back spray. After she was finished, she washed her hands and told him she had to head to work and left. She never apologized or even mentioned it. We never ran into her again after that. He didn't date anyone for almost 2 years after that. We laugh about it now, but for the longest time, it was just a known thing we don't mention. It wasn't his fault, but he carried that guilt on his own for a long time. I used to work at a magazine store, just a normal one, which also had an adults-only section. Haven't seen a magazine in years, but in those days it used to have a plastic cover which would hide the entire magazine apart from the name of the magazine. One day, as I was walking around the store, I saw one smartly dressed gentleman licking the cover of a magazine, really going at it. The magazine was still in its plastic cover, and all you could see was the brand name. I used to work at a small grocery store in a town that had a decently sized concert venue campground. Needless to say, every summer was a constant parade of drunk girls in bikini tops, weed auras, and people who lost their shoes in the river. The following story was witnessed after the fact on the security tapes. One night, as me and the manager were in the back room closing up, only 2 employees locked up at night, a guy managed to jimmy open the locked front door. He completely failed to find the restroom he was looking for 15 feet to the left, despite the clear signage, and proceeded to the produce section. There, he climbed aboard a cart-shaped display full of iceberg lettuce, think the cart from My Cabbages, took off his pants, threw them on the floor, and took a shit on the lettuce. When he was done, he reclaimed his trousers and walked right back out the door. When the manager and I did our final walkthrough 5 minutes later, we smelled his deposit long before we found it. After checking the tape, we notified the store manager that we'd be staying late to clean it up and rebuild a lettuce display. The next day, the store manager gave both of us $100 and had upgraded door locks installed. I work in a big box store. One morning, I go into the rear restroom, 2 sets of restrooms in the building, one in the front, one in the back, to find a guy probably on meth sitting in a urinal. He immediately starts yelling that he needs the manager, that he needed to take a shit, but only the urinals were available. He ignored the fact that the one stall beside the urinal he was shitting in was standing completely open. Yeah, that was a fun morning. Was a retail manager for a while years ago. We started getting emails about a guy who was going into the men's bathrooms and vomiting all over them. The amount of vomit was enough that they had to call a company to clean it up each time it happened. Always different locations. Well, the day came and he finally hit my store, and holy shit, I have never seen anything like it. I'll never get that image out of my head. Wall-to-wall vomit. You could make out the shape of the toilet, but literally couldn't see any porcelain. I pulled up the cameras because I was sure he made a fake vomit cocktail or something. Though the smell should have been enough confirmation for me. Nope, tiny little dude strolls in, no backpack or anything, goes straight to the bathroom, and then out he goes. Weirdest way I've ever heard of someone spending their free time. Drunk guy at a party claimed he could drink anything, and that if everyone spits in a cup, I could even drink that. Someone took him up on this, went around the party with a cup gathering spit, foam from beers, cigarette butts, and one guy peed a little bit in the cup. The drunk guy did drink it, then puked everywhere shortly after. Got a fun one for you. My younger sister and I went out to eat at a diner. Towards the end of the meal, she told me that she had to use the bathroom. She was gone for a longer than usual time. She finally came back and we finished eating, which wasn't very long. I paid for the food and told her that I had to use the bathroom before we left. I went into the women's bathroom and opened the door to the first stall. There was shit smeared everywhere, all over the walls and the toilet. Shit-covered paper was also everywhere. I was absolutely appalled and disgusted. It looked like a kid went to town and finger-painted with shit. I left the bathroom and told my sister about it. She was also shocked and disgusted about it. I found out years later that she was the one that did it. I no longer have anything to do with her. Not because of the poop painting incident, but a myriad of asshole behavior, including stealing my identity and going on a shopping spree. My son got stabbed in April. His intestines were outside his abdomen. A guy was trying to steal stuff from cars at a club, and my kid was just chilling outside and saw the guy and asked him to stop looking in the cars. The perp is a career criminal. He was out on bail before my kid was out of the ICU. He has previously been charged with murder, burglary, assault, and a bunch of other stuff. There was zero reason for that dude to stab my kid. Zero. Remember those old big screen TVs that when you ran your nails over it would make a zipper noise? Was at a sleepover with a few buddies at my buddy's grandpa's house as younger teen. We were watching HBO. A sexy scene came up and one of our buddies immediately jumped up, ran up to the TV, jerked off on said TV and tried to wipe it off. All in a matter of seconds. Quick enough we were like, WTF is he doing? And then saw the blob of jism. It turned the screen a discolored green. My uncle and his wife, who my granddad despised, stole my granddad's cigarettes from his pocket while he was on his dying bed while he slept. Everyone, including him, basically knew he wasn't going to make it through the night. When he woke, he just wanted a cigarette, but the nurse explained to everyone how his son had taken them. My mother went in search of a cigarette for him, but by the time she got back, he had died. He had smoked his entire life and just wanted that last one before he passed. I was skating at a park in DTLA when a drug deal went bad, and one guy shot two guys dead. The park that had hundreds of people on this particular day emptied. After about a minute, the people returned and began striping the bodies of the men that were there, dyeing of their clothes and necklaces, and by the time the cops got there, they were in their boxers and wife-beater shirts, and that's it. I'm a teacher. About a decade or so, I had a student with severe trauma and some symptoms that I think will eventually be diagnosed as schizophrenia. His mom also had severe trauma and likely PTSD. A lot of teachers were afraid of the kid because had some serious violence in his past, but if you knew the story, he was trying to defending a family member from severe domestic violence. He was among the sweetest, most genuinely good kids people I've ever met. Anyways, some scumbag took advantage of the situation and used the fact that the family was a shite show to molest the kid. I saw the person one time at the school before we knew what had happened, and I've never gotten a feeling like I got from that guy. It was like something in my gut told me I needed to get away from him and get him away from the school. I'm really glad I've never seen him again, as I'm genuinely not sure I wouldn't send him to the hospital, which wouldn't help my former student or me at this point. I know he was arrested, but I heard they dropped the case. I had no way to follow up and find out what happened. I think about that kid often and really hope he's okay. He deserved so much better than the hand he was dealt. If you're out there, I'm proud of you and I hope things got better for you. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss new and the coolest stories from all over Reddit in the future. See you next time!